Now, I know I left it a bit late. I should have showed this from the start. What I'm doing is I'm actually trying to create a wine cellar in my shed. Well, when I say a wine cellar, an underground storage tank. Is I've got a concrete floor. It's about a 4-inch thick concrete floor, and I've cut a square out of it. Well, actually, when I cast the floor years and years ago, I cast it with a square already left out. Now I'm digging that out. I'm hoping to dig it deep enough for a demijohn and an airlock. And I've worked out a rough depth that I need. That's 21 inches in total. Okay, so we're nearly there. I've eyed it for level. Let's pop a level in there and have a look. Oh, good as. The bubbles between the lines, that's near enough for me. And both ways. Well, as square as the hole above. And 2 inches back from the overhanging concrete floor. So we're ready to put a base in now then. Now the next thing is we need some polythene membrane down the hole. And that's because if the hole in the ground will always fill up with water at some time or another, and that's the last thing we want happening. I've cut it to size and I've put a cross in the middle. And demijohn. Right, there we go. That's it, lovely jubbly. That's it. Across in the middle. If all is well, that should go in there. That looks good. That looks good. Come up. There we go. Now I've got to fold that all nice and neat somehow. But we do want it. We do want it stretched to the farthest point. And if the concrete is in there, it'll do just that, won't it? So I think that's our next trick, is to cast the concrete in. We've got a bit of bar, a bit of reinforcing. I'm going to put that in. Only reason I'm putting that in is because it will help to retain it from cracking. Then should this leak, should the polythene leak, if you've got a crack in your concrete, water will get in. Even though I should probably render the hole as well. So the next thing to do then is to cut that with a bar to fit and chuck the concrete in. Better take the bit of ply out, haven't we? And this is as good a DIY way as doing it any other way. We're going to use all this cement. So if you cut the bag like that, those little bits of edge hopefully stops it from going all over the place. There we go, and we're going to do a 4-in-1 mix. So that'll be one of them, and then 4 of them. Do this from one bucket to the next. It's as good a way of doing it as any. We need some water. And we want to make this as wet as we can. Well, I say wet as we can. It wants to be so that it'll really pour that back in there. And that, by the time I get that down the hole, go then. The first one in. And if we splash it in like that, then it's going to get into the corners. So let's go and mix some more. Right, so now that's half of it, taking care not to poke holes in the bag. The polythene is quite tough. But what we don't want is the corner of the spade. There we go. Then drop our wire in, our Rio in, off a bunch of the sides. Now I'm not going to push that down because I'm going to let the next half, because I'll end up with a 4-inch bed when I've finished. Let's go then, get some more. So that's the last one in. Now we need to give it a bit of levelling off. Now because it's quite a wet mix, I'm hoping that it's probably levelled itself anyway. But I'm going to make sure that it's how we want it. Okay, so it's gone hard now. We can get down there, can't we? Mark. And the same again this end. Join them two marks together. And we should end up. It'll be as square as the concrete above. But it does want to be about. It doesn't. I'm just going to do a small mix just to get that one row of blocks through the back. So it's going to be a 4 and 1 and 3 of them and 1 of them. And that should be enough to get. There's no plaids in that, so I'm just going to lay that through the back end. There, that's going to be my first. Okay, so I missed that last little bit out because the camera wasn't focused on what I was doing. So I've already laid 1.5 blocks, and that's against the soil at this end, and then this next, the long side, is going to go past the end. Oh, you know what we're working to? Right. Ah, we'll put a bit of batter on there. Put batter on there. And then that goes in there like so. And we tie it up with that line there, and we've got to now make sure that's in level. Not too bad, just want to go down at one end a bit. I've got just a little bit more plug in this one than I did that one, so that one's just a fraction. Oh, that's a lovely job, that is. And plumb. Oh, spot on. It ain't always like that. Right, now block. Come on there. You can see this is all salvage stuff, can't you? There you go. Lovely, lovely. All in line, don't we? That's not bad at all. And that's got to go down a little bit. It's fairly level, but I want it level with that now. There we go. Now you don't need machinery going all the way around. Because that's a gone in, so this one's an against now, this end. That's the first course round. Now I'm going to do bricks, mostly because with bricks I can control where I finish. Up. That's alright. That looks okay. Right, I've written a message on there, look. Oh, that way up. Actually, it's going to have to be done a bit neater than that. I've written, when this is next read, most people on earth will be gay. My reasoning behind that is that the estrogen in our water, in our wastewater, has got to a point where it's beginning to affect our aquatic life, whereby our fish, some fish, are only female, but it will also affect us humans eventually. And there's nature has got a wonderful way of putting things right. And if nature thinks there's too many people on the earth, you're going to find a way of putting it right. And of course you can always think of all sorts of things to write on the back of a brick or whatever you're fixing, your bit of door stop that you might be putting on or something. It's just a bit of fun, but who knows? Someday somebody might uncover it and discover all the things that you've written and think, oh, he was a smart geezer. And I've just finished a career in historic buildings, and I've left messages all over the place. There we go, that's ready to go. Let's do another one then. Okay, so there we go, that's got the brickwork round and they're tight up under the concrete. Now I've got to decide on how I'm going to make it so the lid sits in there flush with the floor. I'll cut that poly off. I might cut it off just a little bit proud of the floor. There, ready for me to put some sort of lining round, timber lining round, so I can drop the piece of ply in. And I've got a nice big thick 1-inch piece of water and boil-proof ply. We're going to put a bit of wood around the edge of there with another bit on there so that the ply sits on it. And what we want to do is we want to make sure that the bit we're going to put on there is smaller than that so that we can plug in around it. So if we do that, put some marks and I'll measure that, but I'll cut it short, so take about 1 inch off. So I'm looking for a bit of 3x1. That'll do. Okay, so we've cut our lining and I've started putting it round, so you can see that fits in there, or would fit in there, but nice and tight. And I've jammed the polythene up, and then that one. Now to check it for a square, I just put a pin in there, but I could have just, oh, that's not very square. You could have just cut a little V on there, but basically what I'm doing is I'll put that in the corner so that it's touching that corner, and then measure, and then over here, and then put a pencil mark there, like so, and then reverse it across in the other two corners. And this is just to see roughly how square it all is, and it's actually that far out. I want to bring that to there. I think what I might do is put something in there to squeeze them in case they're bowed. I mean, it's maybe not important to have it dead square, but if so, I've put together the lining, or the frame, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so now I'm going to put that in. You can do it any way you want, really. There's space under there that needs filling up, because I want, if this shed moves, I want this to act as a bit of a footing as well. But I'm going to put the lining in. You could do it by putting in one side then the other. I'm just hoping that I can actually get this in. I think it might be quite a challenge. And as I say, I think you probably might want to do it in a different manner than the way I'm doing it now. And you could just put the side in and then put this side in and then put the other bits in afterwards. But we'll see. We know it's going to fit, because we've had it in here before now. Now we want that flush across there. As good a way as any is by doing that. That is good. Now I'm going to test that for not being in wind. There's lots of ways of doing it, but all I'm going to do is put a level across there and there and there and there, just to check that it's all the same. Level for the copper oil. There we go. So we put level on there and just look at it and see that it's level. But there we go. That should do it. Same this end. Right, now then. Let's put that in just to hold it all in place. That probably made a difference. And make that square now, I should think. Oh yes, that'll do me. I'm drilling through the wood in preparation, and then I'll go through with the masonry drill. Right, so I've got my masonry drill in, and it's the size to suit. It's the size to suit the plugs. We want to know how deep. Now, obviously, I look at the blade. I'll look at the drill, and I'll know roughly how deep I need to go. But if you're not sure, get a screw. Length of the screw. Plus a little bit, plus a bit, and then a bit of tape around the drill. So when we drill in, we know we're going to go up to that drill.
I think this is where there's a very strong sensitivity to sound.
There we go.
Really interesting. So it's that idea of
one of them in there.
They can actually hear particular aspects of the sound, and you know, let's say if the engine.
Okay, so I've got them all drilled, got the plugs in.
Really incredible skill that they have.
And then you can feel it pop through the wood. So now I just want to put a screwdriver on it and drill that up tight. Oh, that's lovely jubbly. Oh, this is a 4-in-1. We've pushed the plastic right back, and then we're just going to plug in around the bottom of there. Right, so now then, we've plugged that in. We're now going to put a stop around there. And this is my home invention with a pencil and is to run that around like so. And that is where I want my stop. Okay, so I've cut this bit off the length. There we go. Now I'm going to that line, but I've also got a bit of wood which is exactly the same thickness as my top. Oh, that's good. It's on the line. That wants to go down a bit. And they want to be long enough to hold, but not long enough to go right through. There we go then. I'll cut that. And the other one the same. Or as they say in a foreign country, and the swamp for gone. And that's gone off. That'd be lovely jubbly. So there we go. That could be used just as it is. In fact, I might use it just as it is. In time, if I find that damp does get in, then I'll render it. But for the minute, I think that'll do. All I've got to do now is to cut the top to fit. It's the first cut, both the sides. Cut it down to the size. I've got myself on half decent tape this time. So I'm going to measure that. And it measures 60 or 615 exactly, and if I measure that one there, it is 615 exactly there. We could do with allowing a couple of mil, just a couple of mil skirt. Now what we need to do is measure that as well, make sure we've got exactly the same size, and we have, because we did wedge the piece of wood in that. So in theory it should be. If I cut it 615 parallel, that should be fine. And then I'll cut these off according to if they're square or not square. Okay, let's cut it 615. Okay, so what I need to do now, let's use that one then, is to mark out where the edge of that comes, like so, and like so. I'll mark that across. I mean, the thing is, if it's too tight and stuff gets jammed in there, you'll never lift the lid up, will you? It's got to have a certain amount of slack. On the other hand, you don't want to be so much slack that everything you drop gets stuck in the joining. But before we put it in, we're going to have to put what we're going to pull it out with, because if we drop it in there, we'll have a hell of a job getting that out, won't we? So let's do that next. So I'll put the handle at this end. So, prop that up. So let's find the middle. So let's do a, I've got a bit of sash cord here. I think probably in time I'll put something more flush on. Now, in theory, that should fit. It might be just a little tight. Let's have a look. Oh, it's so close. I might just plane that edge off. That looks good. It all looks good all round. So I've just got to take a squidgy bit off of that end. We don't want it tight, we want it to be loose. So a little plane through there, I'll do that. Right, let's see what we got. Oh, look at that. That's perfect. I'm happy with that. Oh, hey! So, all we've got to do is see if a demijohn fits down it. Can't afford to have that sticking up. So I think I might have to, I'll put a bit of duct tape over that, or just house that out. But for the minute, we're done. Okay, let's see if it's going to work. Oh my goodness, that's a bit tight. Oh my goodness, oh we got ½ inch spare there. Yeah, it wouldn't have hurt to have made that an inch deeper because these aren't all the same length. But anyway, it works, it's done. A lot of hard work, but it's going to be so worth it. Ooh, feather. So, because we're going to sit it down there and leave it down there, now I'll put that little lid on there so that don't dry out. So that can live down there. Oh, I'll tell you what, let's put the jacket on. Don't know why, that's because I've got it. These are the leg of my trousers. It's because I want a constant temperature, or as constant as, we're going to have such a hot summer. I'm going to be so pleased that all my wines are going to be under there. And that is elderberry and honey, mead. There we go, look at that. That, I think, I'm going to have to design something better there though. But that's the business. There we go. Job done. I may, in time, end up rendering the whole out, but we'll see. We'll see. Bye. Hope this gives you some ideas. Hope you're just as eccentric as I am. Eccentric? Well, whatever.